Welcome to another episode of Fabric Garage. So on this episode, I'm going to give you guys an update on the waste oil heater, and I'm also going to talk about what I plan on doing with it. A couple little upgrades. So let's get to it. So I haven't really done much because, again, where I live, it was warm out. Now it's starting to get cold again, so I'm going to, do a couple upgrades and run this thing for the winter. That way I have heat out here in the shop. So I just started to buy some parts. What I plan on doing here is, my stove is an oval to 6-inch round. Oh, I dropped my little cup here. So this little cup, I actually made it and I hung it over here. The reason why is because when it's like 20 degrees out, the whole inside of the shop is so cold that the oil's so thick that it takes a little while for the oil to actually run down. And if you open this valve too much, oil will start to fill up and then come out of the front. So I know when that's happening that I gotta back up on the valve until this pipe gets warm. So it's before it was kind of making a mess on the floor, as you can see there from last year. So I made this little cup here. That way, if I see that it's starting to drip in here, then I can come here and adjust the valve accordingly. Nice and easy. So the next thing is my stove. It's oval to 6-inch round. So I got some 6-inch ID pipe. So the stove pipe will fit perfectly in here. I'm gonna drill some holes so I can put securing screws. And I'm basically gonna remove this whole section here, and then I'm gonna fabricate out of steel, and I'm gonna basically convert that oval to 6-inch round. That way I can just start the chimney right from here. This is 1/4 inch thick, so it will last forever. I'll try and use the brass rods to weld this to cast iron because it'll hold up a little better. So after I do this, I plan on building a little box with pipes going across it, with the little fan in the back, kind of like that magic heat. I think they call it magic heat, or it's like a heat retrieving system. It's like $300. I can just go and buy one of those, but again, this channel is all about trying to make things with things I already have. So I'm gonna try and come up with some metal. I'm gonna build a box, weld some tubes going across it, and then mount a little fan on the back, which is also gonna be controlled by the timer. And when I shut everything off, everything shuts off, vice versa. So that's gonna be the next project now. So keep an eye open for the next video. This is kind of just like an update. Now that it's getting cold out, I'm gonna have to do something about this and get it going again. So after I build that box, I plan on using the 6-inch pipe. I bought a 6-inch stainless steel clamp, I guess. And I plan on basically, instead of having to disassemble the whole thing and then moving the whole thing up, because this goes in here probably a couple inches. It's hard to just move the whole thing up to disconnect it. I want to make it so these, let's say this was flush, I can put the band right here and seal it that way. And then if I need to service it, 2 bolts, take the clamp off, the chimney comes apart. It's stainless, so it should hold up to heat. It should not distort or anything. It's decently thick. So yeah, I plan on building that box. And another thing I want to show you is the pan. So let me show you this here. These are the 2 pans that I was using last year. They're both made out of stainless. This one's like a mixing bowl, like a kitchen bowl. Not that thin. It's actually a lot thicker than the dog bowls that people run. And this here is even thicker. This is probably 8-inch thick stainless. That's like a cooking pan that I stole from the wife. So again, these both work great, but I was told by other people that built these waste oil heaters and from research online that cast iron bowl will be better. So a friend of mine gave me that. I'll take it out and show you. This is a nice heavy cast iron bowl. It's about the same height, but it's a lot bigger. So hopefully it won't be too big. But I was very surprised when I turned it over and I saw this. I was wondering what brand is it. and I don't know if you guys can see it, Amazon Basics. I didn't even know Amazon sold cast iron. Oh, I mean, they sell everything, but so I guess you know where to get a cast iron bowl if you need one for your heater, Amazon. So this was free. They say it holds a lot of heat. It holds a lot of heat better. I don't know if it probably would take a little longer to heat up compared to that because that's so much thinner. But once it gets going, it should be really good. So we'll try it. If last case, I'll go back to my stainless bowls. So this is nice and clean. I'm gonna vacuum all that out. I'm gonna repair that back there. I'm gonna cut a piece of plate. I'm gonna cut a piece of plate and patch that. Now that I have a plasma cutter here, a plasma cutting table, I've been cutting a lot of pieces for my tractor. So I'm gonna cut a piece for that, put it on the back. I took all the rotors and stuff that were over here because it really doesn't do anything unless when you shut it off. That's when it kind of helps, probably for another 2 minutes. It really doesn't make any difference. So I emptied it out, and we'll run it again and see how we do. I do want to put some brick in here. I want to get some fire brick and maybe line the whole inside of it and the bottom with fire brick. I think that'll help a lot. So I'll probably end up doing that too in the next videos. But for now, I'm just gonna get it going so I can use it. I do have to fabricate some handles. The threads are there. I'll use the good old lathe. I'll make some handles. I actually already had this one here. I made it quick just because it was hot to the touch. So what I'll probably fabricate some new handles for it, so that way it's not too hot when I touch. And other than that, I'm just gonna run this thing this year. I'm gonna still use this here. I am not gonna keep oil down here like my previous videos. I bought one of these jugs. It holds 8 quarts, and basically I have two gallons, 255 drums over there, and those are almost full of oil, and I have a crank pump on it. So I'm gonna basically walk there. I'm gonna fill that up with the crank pump. It's filtered used engine oil. There's a cone filter, and I'll show you guys in a minute. And I'm gonna fill it up, and then I'm just gonna walk up here and just dump it right in here. I mean, this here holds 4 gallons, and that are actually 5 gallons, and that'll run all day long. So if I can just fill it in the morning and use it all day, it's really not a big deal. And I'd rather not keep any fuel in case something happens. I'd rather not have any fuel just standing here or getting hot. I want to keep the sides open, so just for safety. So yeah, so that's gonna be the next step. Let me show you guys the setup I have over there for the filtering system, and then hopefully I can show you guys some more footage of the build. All right, so this is my setup at the corner of the shop, completely away from the stove. So I have 2 55-gallon drums. I looked for these specific in white because you can see through them and you can see how much oil you have. I did have 2 of the metal blue ones, but the problem with those is you're not exactly sure how much oil you have in there. This, you have the measurement right outside, and you know exactly how many gallons you have. So 110 gallons here, that should be plenty for me in the winter. If these start to get low, I'm in the process of filling them up now because I just acquired them not that long ago. So I do have enough oil to fill these 2, but if I need more oil, all I have to do is go to work and bring 20 gallons at a time in 5-gallon pails and just dump them right in. So there's plenty of oil for free at work. So the setup here is 2 55-gallon drums. I have a cast iron hand pump on one. Don't buy the aluminum ones, they fail a lot. We have them at work and we're constantly replacing them, and they take forever to prime. These cast iron ones seems to do a lot better. I got this on Amazon. I'll put the link. It was very cheap. It was even cheaper than Harbor Freight, but I think they're exactly the same. They're just companies put their stickers on it. So this one's been working great. I basically come here, I get the flexible neck that does come with this one and does not come with the Harbor Freight one on Amazon. So put that in there, take this cap off, put that in there, pump this 8 quarts, which is 2 gallons. I'll make 2.5 trips. My whole reservoir out there is full and I can run heat all day long. On the back here, I do just have a big funnel with a big hole. We used to have a smaller hole, but I cut it bigger that way. I can just take the 5-gallon pails from work and just dump it, and it'll dump quick. So the pickup on this is about 6 inches from the bottom, maybe 8 inches, probably right about here, because dirt and water will settle to the bottom, and you don't want to be picking that up and throwing in the heater. So you want to pick up somewhat clean oil. So don't put the pickup all the way on the bottom. Make sure you leave a decent space there. So that's that one. I do have an electric pump with a battery that I can just transfer oil from one tank to the other. If that one is getting low and this one's full, I'll plug it in for about 5 minutes and all the oil from this one will go to that one. The pump pumps pretty quick. Then I have a funnel here. This funnel, you can buy it on Amazon. I'll leave the link. It comes with the adapter, so you can just thread it on. So this one here, I have an automotive filter in it. It's one of those 190 micron paint filters for auto body. You buy 50 pack of these for like $8. And these filter extremely well. And not only that, when you pour the oil in here, it actually drains fairly quick. It doesn't just puddle and sit here for a while, unless it's like 20 degrees out. So this here is just a piece of the silicone that was left over from the chimney. I'm using it to hold the funnel in place. Instead of throwing it out, I just used it there. That way it holds the funnel wherever I need it, and leaves a space between that and the hole. That way the oil can just pull up in there and keep it covered. This one's just a little hair net thing that I keep covered. I just don't want a bunch of dirt falling in there. And that's pretty much it. So this is, again, fuel away from the fire. Anything goes wrong, these are completely on the other side of the shop. I don't have to worry about it. Then I did get plastic. I bought plastic on Amazon, commercial, pretty thick. I'm gonna line the whole ceiling with plastic. And then the way I did it, the way I thought about it is that because I have a metal building, I'm gonna use magnets. I bought these magnets, they're pretty strong. I bought a whole box of them. I'm gonna basically use magnets to stick them up to the beams and make it temporarily, so that way I can use it when I'm done and I'm ready to plywood everything. Then I'll basically just, take the magnets down and use it for something else. But that way I don't have to be drilling a bunch of holes or anything into the metal. I can just use magnets to hold the plastic up. So that's gonna be the next project. There's a lot of upgrades coming in the next videos, but I am limited on time now because my son was born, which he's awesome. But I definitely need to spend a lot of time in the house bonding and taking care of him. So I won't have a lot of time to be out here making things, but I'm still gonna make time to come out here and give you guys some footage of what I'm doing. So let's go and I'll show you guys the next upgrade. So for those of you that care, when I was showing you guys my plasma cutter and I was saying I was cutting metal for my tractor, this is what I'm talking about. 1964 Economy Power King. I built this front loader completely from scratch. These tubings here used to be out of our engine crane, or a cherry picker, as some call it. So the bucket I completely built from scratch. I used pieces of an oil tank and pieces of a tire machine. There's pieces of all kinds of steel here. 1/4 inch lip on the front. There's a 1/2 inch bar on the bottom to level dirt. And these are the gussets that I was cutting with a plasma cutter to reinforce the bucket. So if you can see here, they're all primed. So I needed gussets to reinforce the back of the bucket because the bucket was starting to twist, because this will actually pick up a lot of weight. So I use this to move scrap metal, dirt. I have 2 acres of land, so I'm moving all kinds of stuff. I'll fill this up with scrap metal, bring it up front for my in-laws. And this thing works awesome. This tractor's done a lot of work and the loader works awesome. So completely, again, not finished. So I'm gonna prime it. And over here, I'm not even primed yet. Eventually, this whole tractor is going to be painted orange. As you can see here, welded a handle so I can get on it. Use the fire extinguisher as a reservoir. Just a quick little run around. Hydraulic pump. This is a filler neck out of a Ford Mustang. So basically, if you open up a Ford Mustang 87, you will see this as your oil cap for your engine. So that way, it's got a little one of those clicky caps. So that's my hydraulic fluid, my filter. So again, nothing fancy, but it works awesome. So if you guys want to see any videos on these, retractors. I do have 2 of them. There's another one right there. Let me know. But yeah, let's get to it with the wood stove. All right, so now we'll move on to the fans. I installed ceiling fans. I put one right above the wood stove, and the whole section there is wrapped with aluminum sheeting, and that aluminum sheeting is it's decently thick. It's probably a 16th thick. So I wrapped it all around there just so that the heat from the chimney doesn't distort the wood or dry the wood up or anything. And the fan's mounted right there. The fan actually plugs into a regular outlet. So it's just a plug-in fan, but it has a module up there, which I'll show you guys here. It has a remote on the wall. And I have 3 of these because I have 3 fans. I have a fan above the lifts that's actually running right now. And then I have another fan on top of the 4-wheeler that I'm gonna put up there. So each one of those fans have this module here. So this is just a Amazon module that I found, and you wire it to the fan, and there's these little switches here. So if you set this up the same as the remote, that remote would only be for this. So in my case of installing 3 of these, I gotta make sure that my switches are set differently on all 3. That way I'll have 3 remotes. You could do 1 remote for all, but if I wanna just turn on this one and not the other 2, I wanna be able to turn on just this one. So basically every fan that's mounted, the remote is mounted on the wall directly underneath. The same thing under there. There's right next to the cabinet, there's the remote for this fan. And then there'll be a remote mounted on the wall for the fan that's going up there eventually. So this was pretty cheap. And then you have, your high, your medium, your low, and your off. You do have an option if you want to have a light to wire up light, and then when you press this, it'll trigger a light. And not only that, my fans, I have outlets on the ceiling, there, and there. These outlets are switched by the lights. So when I turn the lights on, these 3 outlets get power. So when I come in the shop and let's say I turn the wood stove on and I want to turn the fan on to keep pushing the heat down, I'll come over here and I'll just push high. I don't even have to take the remote out of the wall. I just leave it here because it works. I'll just push high, that fan will start going, and that'll stay on. I can literally walk out of the shop and turn the lights off, and because they're on the switched lights, they'll shut off. If I come in tomorrow, I'm gonna shut these off. If I come in tomorrow morning and I turn the light on, the fans will remember the last setting, and this fan will turn on high. So it's pretty cool. It remembers. So if I wanna shut it off, I'll just shut it off. But if I wanna leave it on all the time, every time I flick the lights on, the fans will come on. So it was nice and easy to wire. I'll leave the link below for the module that I used. It was extremely cheap. And it works awesome because sometimes I only want this back fan running to move the heat. So I'll just come over here and turn this one only. So I'm getting there with getting everything sorted. I have plywood that I'm gonna plywood the whole side there where you see the 45. I'm gonna plywood the whole place, and I'm gonna put insulation behind it. And then from the plywood to the plywood on the other side is gonna be plastic for now, just to try and keep some of the heat. And then obviously all 3 fans will be pushing the hot air down, so it should be okay for the winter. Along with the new heat box that I'm gonna build for here in the next videos. So yeah, we're getting there. But at least I can use it as is right now if I need to. So I appreciate you guys watching, and stay tuned for the next video, and we'll get this thing fired up. All right, take care, guys. Appreciate it. If you're not a subscriber yet, please subscribe to my videos, and we'll see you guys on the next one.